Hi guys, my name is Christine, and today I'm talking about skip this video if you feel like you're happy with your life. Okay, so obviously if you've clicked on this video, then there are some areas that you're not happy with, right? You have things about your life that you're not 100% proud of yet. Okay, so I'm going to get into my main point, but I'm going to add some additional things as well. So there'll be some other things as well that may help you. But the main point that I want to make, getting straight into it, is feeling like you're making progress will make you feel more better about yourself. Okay, I'm not talking about complete happiness where you're sort of bouncing off the walls happy all of the time, 100% of the time, because that in my mind is a bit unrealistic. But if you feel like you're making progress towards your most important goals in life, that will make you feel better about yourself. Okay, so there's a quote that I use all the time, and it's a quote by Dale Carnegie. I leave it at the end of my videos nowadays, and that is, inaction breeds doubt and fear. Okay, inaction breeds doubt and fear, right? But taking action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, do not sit at home and think about it. Go out and get busy. Okay, so if you follow that, right, and you go out and you get busy and you start taking action on your most important goals, you will feel better about yourself. You will feel more confident and have more courage. Okay? So that's the main point that I want to get into. So what are some additional things that may help you? So the first thing is procrastinating will make you dislike yourself, right? Which is kind of like the opposite of the downside of basically not taking action, right? So if you procrastinate, you're not going to feel good about yourself. I know that on days when I procrastinate, sometimes I can't help it. Sometimes I have to procrastinate. Sometimes I can't do what I need to do that day because certain emergencies come up in life. But on days when I procrastinate and I can't do what I'm supposed to do, or I don't do what I'm supposed to do, I don't feel as good about myself. Okay, so that should give you a clue there. So if you feel bad about yourself all the time, right, or consistently, then it's probably because you're avoiding some things that are really important that you need to stop procrastinating on. Now, if you're unhappy all of the time and you experience low mood all of the time, then perhaps it may be something medical. So I do recommend that you go and talk to your doctor, go and seek out help from a therapist or a counselor if you are experiencing low mood all of the time. What I'm teaching here, what I'm saying here, is not a substitute for medical advice. But if you are feeling a bit crummy about yourself, one of the things that can help is if you don't procrastinate and you actually tackle your goals, you work towards things that are important to you, okay? So you feel like you're making progress. Another thing that is really important is that you don't have to be happy, 100% happy with your life, but just be at least happy with the path that you're on. There are many areas of my life that I'm not happy with, that I'm not content with, that I wish was better, that I wish could be improved, right? Many areas, many areas, right? But I am happy with the path that I'm on because I know that the action I take every day is helping me get towards a life that I will be a lot more happier about. So even though I'm not happy with where I am currently, I am definitely happy with my path and what I'm doing day in and day out because I'm seeing the progress, right? So at least most of the time I feel that way. Sometimes, you have bad days and you think, oh my God, I wish I didn't have to do this. Or, oh my God, it seems like my goals are never going to materialize, or things like the things that I want are never going to happen. And you will have days like that, but it's important to keep the faith, right? And understand that maybe what's going on is happening for a reason, right? And sometimes things do take time and do take a while. And I'm someone who doesn't really have that much patience. I never have been one that has much patience. So it's really difficult for me to know that, oh my God, the things that I'm trying to build in life may take a few years, may take even a decade. So sometimes that, you have to kind of understand that and realize that so you can be a little bit more patient. But all in all, I'm happy with what I'm doing every day, and I'm happy with the trajectory. So you need to get to that point where you're happy with the actions that you're taking every day. But if you're living day to day, like, for example, or every day I'm regretting the day because I didn't work on everything I needed to do. If you have that every single day and you feel crummy about yourself because you didn't do your most important tasks, then you're obviously not happy with your trajectory. You're not happy with the path that you're on. So it's important that you get happy with the path that you're on. You get happy with the journey. You fall in love with the grind, basically. And, you start basically taking action on those things and stop procrastinating. Okay. One of the ways that you can do that is, there's a good question that Brian Tracy says, right, in a lot of his books. And he says, and in some of his lectures as well. And he said, if the world were more like me, what kind of world would this be? Or something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing a lot. And if you think about that, okay, well, if the world was more like me, what kind of world will we be living in? And you're someone who procrastinates all the time, then the whole world will be in darkness because everyone will be procrastinating on turning the lights on and working, the electric grid or however electricity works. I'm not 100% sure how it works. But, you got to think that, okay, so if the world was more like me, then, oh my God, this place would be going downhill pretty fast, right? Right? So that's something that you need to work on, right? Also, something else that helps you realize and beat procrastination is if you kind of look towards the future a bit and you think, okay, so if I keep on doing what I'm doing, if I keep on procrastinating, what is that going to look like for me in 5 years, right? Perhaps you've been procrastinating about going to the gym. Okay, so if I procrastinate about going to the gym and not exercising for 5 years, what would that look like? How would I look like, right? You got to really push yourself into the future and think about that. There's a good technique that Tony Robbins goes into this, and it's called like the Charles Dickens effect, where you sort of but you only go into the future, right? I don't know if he does the past and the present as well, but the one that I did in his personal power program was the looking forward in 5 years, then 10 years, then 20 years, if you just remain exactly the same and you don't take action. Okay, and it's a scary thing to do, right? When you think, okay, if I just remain the same and I don't change and I don't improve and I keep on procrastinating, I keep on doing these bad habits, I keep holding on to these limiting beliefs, then that's going to look really bad in 5 years' time. That's going to look super bad in 10 years' time. And my life could be over because of it in 20 years' time, right? So that's just something to think about. Again, though, if you are really, really struggling with any sort of like depression or really, really low mood, I can't emphasize enough the importance of getting help for that. Okay, getting some medical help for that. What I'm talking about is not a substitute for medical help. Okay. So another thing that I want to talk about as well, which hopefully will ease your mind a little bit, and that is, happiness comes and goes, right? Happiness sort of fluctuates, right? And we all sort of live at our sort of baseline. We're neither like happy or super, super sad. We're sort of like, yeah, life's pretty okay. Could be better, could be worse, right? It's very rare when we actually get those really high moments. Like one of those high moments could be finding out that you're going to be a parent. One of those high moments could be finding out a relative is going to have a baby, or that someone you care about is getting married, or something like that. And that makes you feel really happy. Happiness comes in those like really, important moments that are going to maybe improve your life in some way, or something really good happens to someone that you love, or something that you've always wanted to happens, right? That happiness comes and goes. You're not always going to be bouncing off the walls happy. Not every day can feel like that. Some days are just regular days, but then of course there are those really, really special days when something incredibly happy happens. So don't worry if you're not bouncing off the walls happy. And I think one of the things that fools a lot of people is social media, right? You go on social media, especially Instagram, and you see a lot of people living these like amazing lives. You see all these amazing photos of them on holiday in Bali, and you're like, oh yeah, I really want to have a holiday in Bali. That would be great, But the thing is, when you go on Instagram or social media, people are just showing you the highlights of their holiday. They're not showing you the whole thing, right? You didn't see them waiting at the airport for 9 hours in their sweatpants looking hideous because they hadn't showered in 24 hours or something. Right, you don't see that part. You don't see them carrying their luggage up the stairs to, their villa or something, and they're really struggling getting the luggage up. You don't see those bits. You don't see the arguments that maybe they may have had along the way. You only see the great photos in Bali where they look happy, like they're living the perfect life. Okay, I can guarantee it, they're not having a perfect life. So don't compare yourself to these highlights that you just see on social media. It's not going to do you any favors, okay? Be happy for them. Be happy that they had a nice holiday, and focus on your own stuff. Focus on yourself and improving your life. Don't worry about anyone else's life, okay? And how well they look like they're doing. Focus on how well you're doing, okay? And don't compare yourself. Compare yourself to yourself. Don't compare yourself to others. It's you against you. Compare who you are to who you were yesterday and trying to improve upon that, okay? Maybe you once had a really great day where you did absolutely everything that you needed to do, and that was and you can use that basically as your goal. Like, okay, I'm going to repeat that amazing day that I had, and I'm going to try and repeat that as many times as I possibly can. But again, it's you against you. It's not you against everybody else, okay? Because that would just drive you mad, okay? So another thing that I want to talk about as well is that it's okay to feel like nothing's working right now. Okay, perhaps you're in a bit of a dip. Perhaps you've got a YouTube channel, it's not growing, or perhaps you're not getting any clients, or perhaps you're not getting many hits to your website. Perhaps you're not getting many viral TikTok videos, or perhaps your TikTok videos are getting zero. Perhaps you've hit a bit of a plateau at the gym and you're not really sure how to move on from that. Perhaps you've got that excess weight that you're still trying to get rid of, and it's not budging for whatever reason, whatever it may be. Right? It's okay to have periods of your life where it feels like nothing's working. And I've definitely had those. I just came out personally of a really long period of that where I just felt like nothing was working. And that's been going on for nearly half a year, maybe even more than that. Right? And it just felt like nothing's working, nothing's really improving that much. And it's only been really in the last couple of weeks that I felt, okay, things are actually getting a little bit better. I'm starting to regain some belief. One of the main things that I'm talking about here in my own life was when I had a miscarriage, right? And that really hit me in my confidence, my self-esteem. It really knocked me in my belief about certain things. Because I'm one of these people that really believes in miracles and how things are not really coincidences, and like how everything is like divinely orchestrated. And I lost that belief for a long time when I had my miscarriage, because I just felt, oh, everything was going to be okay, and I truly believed that I was going to have a healthy baby, but that's not what happened. And it made me question my own beliefs and lose faith a little bit, right? Actually, it made me lose faith a lot, not even a little bit. I lost pretty much all of my faith, and only now I've started to regain some of that, because I've actually started to see how that is actually starting to make sense for me more now of why that had to happen. And one of the reasons why it happened, I believe, is because I've had a bad back for a long time. I've had a bad back for about 5 years, and it was only recently that I started to get help for that, because it started to get a lot worse. And now I'm thinking, well, I'm a lot better now. My back is healing and getting a lot better. And I'm thinking, well, maybe if I had carried that baby to full term, then maybe it would have severely damaged my back. Or maybe it would have made me not even walk. Or perhaps I wouldn't have been able to have carried a baby. Maybe I've had to have like a really horrible operation. Maybe I would have even died, right? Because my back pain was that bad, that serious. So maybe that's the reason why I had to have the miscarriage, because I just wasn't healthy enough to carry a baby. My body wasn't strong enough. My back wasn't strong enough. And I'm only now starting to maybe see that and to realize that. And it's gave me a lot more faith in things like, okay, this was just something that was meant to happen. And at the time I didn't understand it, but now I do. Okay? And sometimes when you're going through a difficult period, you have to have that hope. You have to have a hope that, okay, it doesn't make sense right now. I'm going through a tough time. Things aren't working. But maybe at some point, it will all make sense. And that's something that I've started to rediscover for myself. Okay? So what you've also got to realize then is unhappiness also comes and goes. Okay? Dark periods of your life also come and go. I had a really long stretch where it was a really dark time in my life, a long stretch, right? Like nearly like I said, like about half a year, maybe even more than that. It was a long time to feel that crap about everything, right? And going through that grief as well of losing a child. It was tough, right? But what I've seen is that these times also pass. The unhappiness it does get better. The unhappiness doesn't last, and you do come out of it eventually. Okay? So just as much as happiness comes and goes, so does periods of unhappiness and sorrow. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you would like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.